Happy Devils Wednesday. This is the State of the Fan Address presented by pucksandpitchforks.com. Coming to you live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, on the Premium X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. My co-host, Nick Villano, pucksandpitchforks.com, editor-in-chief. Coming to you live from his bunker in South Jersey. I'm back in the bunker somewhere in an undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey. Devils playing a preseason game at the Rock right now as we're live. It's only preseason, Nick. You were getting all emotional before the podcast. Just like
losing all the time. All we do is lose. We are the anti-DJ Khaled. We are JD Khaled.
I don't know what that means.
All I do is win, no matter what. All we do is lose. I'm kidding, of course. I don't. None of this matters.
Yeah, I mean, are we going to put Markstrom on the block yet? I mean, some of the craziness that you
trade Jack Hughes for a bag of hockey pucks and some pixie sticks.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is, that's going to be reported somewhere on social media. The two dopes. One said that Markstrom should be on the block, and the other one.
No, somebody really said that?
I don't know.
Some
of this. Well, see, the thing is, that stuff doesn't bother me, Nick, because when I see that stuff, I think of that person trying to be one of those C-word creators, and
Chili's. Are we creating Chili's?
Yeah. C-word creator and trying to be funny and troll you. And I just see through that right now. And I chuckle, and then I move on. I take things with a grain of salt.
Sam, some people say I do that.
that you troll?
I don't troll. No, I definitely create. I don't want to say create narratives because I don't, but I'll talk about things that are at least out there. I've done that a lot less. I do have, there are some articles on pucksandpitchforks.com that I'm like, but, this is what happens when you get, I think we have, Sam, we're close to 20 writers right now.
Really?
We're in preseason form, or I don't even know. It's been, this is what happens when you have to take a couple weeks away is I'm not throwing my fastball right now. I feel like Pedro when he was the Yankees' daddy, or when the Yankees were his daddy. See, we're going to reset. We're good. Okay. A Devils take. I think the Devils are, well, first of all, yesterday's lineup was like, I think we could have made that team. It was like AHL, juniors, ECHL lineup. And that's fine. I don't love, like, the schedule makers didn't really do them any favors because you're giving them a back-to-back in the preseason when they're going to Prague. I did write about it this summer about how these games in Prague put the Devils at a pretty severe disadvantage when it comes to training camp. Instilling a new system, like half the team is new. And then, it doesn't help that you have these injuries, right? So you're trying to figure out Luke Hughes. You're trying to figure out Brett Pesce and how you're going to replace them both. And it sounds like Pesce, I didn't think was going to be out at all, right? I didn't think we were going to, I didn't realize he was going to be out. But, apparently he might miss just as much time as Hughes, maybe a little less. But I'm a little concerned about that you're basically missing your entire second-line defense on a team that really needs to get out to a hot start.
Well, yeah. But at the same time, Tom Fitzgerald was not irresponsible and actually got depth. Now you're hearing Hataka has issues now. So, again, when we're doing our preseason or season predictions, and, I'm waiting to do this on the Sunday show, but I don't know. I have this team underachieving this year, even though I said 2025 4 years ago. But I'm just not. Again, this team is so fragile, just so
Right.
fragile. You
Well,
got Luke
yeah.
Hughes getting injured in training while training, so fire the trainer. Then you've got Nemitz that got hurt in a tournament, and then you
Yeah, I mean, he's
got
fine.
well, he's fine now, but still, it's like
Yeah,
the
scared for a
optics
minute.
of it. The optics of it, Nick. It's just like okay, here we go. And then you got Pesci. It's like okay, we got all these guys with the, it just seems like everybody's milking the system. You know,
Trying to get that workman's comp.
yeah, like Palat. I mean, Palat. He's. I don't know. It seems like this is his big pension right now with the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, I mean, here, and that was the worry with Palat. That was always the worry with Palat is you're getting him after 3 long playoff runs, right? You signed him after he just went to the back-to-back-to-back Stanley Cup final. So when he got that groin injury in his first year, I wasn't surprised. Like he's played a lot of hockey, and you hoped that it was like a one-time, like you get the injury out of the way and then play well. And he played well in the playoffs, so you thought that he was going to move past it and be good. But he's noticeably slower than he was in Tampa, and that's a concern because this team wants to play fast.
He
Yeah,
doesn't have the jump like he did in Tampa.
Yeah, but I think you kind of built a team where he can have a role here. Playing next to Nason and Holla, and Holla's hurt too. I don't know if you mentioned him. So it's just they do have depth, but you're testing it quickly. Like if Hataka's hurt, you kind of now have 6 NHL defensemen when you once had 9. Dougie Hamilton's coming off a major injury. Jonas Sigathar is coming off a terrible year. And then you're forced to play one of Kovacevic or DeSimone on his offhand. I would assume it would be one of those two that we play on his offhand. So, unless you like bring up a Tobias Villano or Seamus Casey's look really good. Like he's looked good, but the kid really needs a year in the Utica. Like he reminds me of Ty Smith, and I don't want to say that because I know Ty Smith didn't work out, but Ty Smith he had one great season in the NHL, one decent one, and then he kind of fell off the map. But I see it like just that first preseason that Ty Smith was in camp. This Seamus Casey one's reminding me of that, where I'm just like, I know you have offensive prowess, but like you're playing well in your own zone. And here's the thing, I wrote about this yesterday or the day before. He's shown that his biggest strength isn't even his offensive prowess or his shot or his passing ability, but it's his poise. The kid just like doesn't sweat. Like he's ice cold. So like maybe I wouldn't want him to be the guy. I don't want him to be the guy, but like you got to look at it if you're looking at a Hataka injury. But he's also right-handed, so that kind of throws a little wrench into the cookie jar. I get what you're saying. The Devils really prioritize depth. I think they have it, but then they're playing Shane Bowers in place of Eric Holla, and I don't think that's who Devils fans want to make the team if Holla can't go right away. But I guess Holla's a sickness, right? So that's just getting back up to game speed. I would imagine that nothing's going to stop him from playing on October 4th. We're still about a week and a half away from that, so he should be fine. But you're just missing a lot of your pieces. You're trying to instill a new system. Dawson Mercer missed the first practice, so he's a little bit behind. Like everybody's just a little bit behind. and Sheldon Keefe is putting in a new system.
So you're making excuses right now, Nick.
I don't think that's what I did. Is that what you heard?
No, I'm just trolling you right now.
I'm just stating a fact that I don't think that you've had a chance to practice your lineup, and I think I'm concerned for October.
I'm concerned. I'll tell you what I'm concerned about. You had an early off season. You got it on April 15th. That was it. And I figured, okay, give the guys time to rest, get some new free agents here. Everybody passes the physical. Everything's all good. Everyone's healing. And now we're back to square one. Everyone's hurt. Now, why is everybody hurt? We go through this every year. I'm telling you, the Devils are very fragile. Jack Hughes is coming off of that shoulder thing, I believe, last season. And then now Luke. So now that's all the doom and gloom. But there's a positive here. You want to know what the positive is?
What's the positive?
Well, I don't think the Devils are playing the LTIR game, but here's a positive. The meat line. You got some character players on this team, and there's a lot of depth. Seeing Tomas Tatar back is I think, wonderful.
Yeah.
I also think that the addition of Paul Cotter and then, having Curtis Lazar another year, and then maybe a renaissance of Nathan Bastian, who's on a contract year right now. I think there's going to be depth on this team. I think it's a matter of right now, and if I'm going to put a positive spin on it, they're going through their challenges and their obstacles right now together as a team with all the injury bug. But if you're going to make the playoffs, and that's a big if, I can't imagine what this team would be like if they were all healthy by the end of the year in striking distance for the playoffs. So, I mean, they are potentially deadly. But again, everyone said this in the media. On paper, they look wonderful. They actually look better than the Rangers, I thought someone said in the media recently. Mm-hmm. At least on paper. But that's paper.
Yeah, not plastic. Because that's banned in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
That was a pretty good joke. Yeah. That was on my feet.
I'll tell you.
Not bad for being off for a couple weeks.
I'll tell you what. My boss, who is in Pennsylvania, sent me something. And when it was handed to me, it was in a plastic bag. Ooh. And I took that plastic bag and I put it in my drawer. And I have like a little collection of plastic bags because we can't get it that easily anymore in this state.
We were at a wedding in Pittsburgh this weekend, and we made a couple of forays to sheets. We love ourselves some sheets, just because it's like sheets is basically if you told Wawa that you didn't have a diet. Like everything's fried. The bakery section is like you just add like it's like, oh, it's a donut, but it's got Reese's peanut butter cups on it, or this one's a cotton candy donut. It's like, oh, we have coffee, but like here's all the sugar in your coffee. So it's I love sheets.
Which one do you like better? Because now that
I grew up with Wawa. Wawa was my first ever job. Wawa was my first love.
Wait, you worked at Wawa?
I did.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Look at you now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Came a long way from Wawa.
Tell you, I used to call sheets something else, but as a joke, but can't say it out loud on this family-friendly programming. I know right. JCB Architectural, John, who donates tickets for giveaways on this podcast, JCB Architectural. His son Sam listens as well, being I think he is 10 years old, and we try to keep it clean. We try to keep the hits clean for that reason, so everybody can listen. But I find Wawa to be disgusting.
Really?
I mean, yeah. The only things I buy at Wawa that's Wawa is maybe their iced tea, but
Yeah.
or I'll buy a candy bar. Actually, no.
Have you
no,
had their hot
no.
turkey?
I don't buy candy bars. Mrs. Wu is listening right now. That was just a kind of a figurative reference. But
Okay.
I buy name brand stuff that has nothing to do with Wawa. You know. Like
Have you had their hot turkey?
Hot turkey? Yes, I have. But
The hot turkey sandwich, if I were to go on death row, if I did something heinous, I'd kill the Rangers fan, and I'm on death row, I'd be like, please kill me in October so I can have my last meal be the Wawa hot turkey sandwich and then a Wawa hot turkey bowl. This is the greatest time of the year when hot turkey is available again.
Well, you know what? I'll take your word on it. I've had it before. I just don't remember it being that good. But I'm just not a big fan of Wawa. I mean, now if they sponsor this podcast, I love Wawa.
I still love Wawa. I will tell you this. Just like with everything else in the world, I feel like it was just better when I was working there. Like the portions I know they were better. I know that Wawa has shortened on portions. I also know that it's trying to assimilate itself to a certain type of crowd. With like the pizza and the French fries, and it's just not. So like for example, when I worked at Wawa,
What'd you do at Wawa?
I did everything, but my first job was pumping gas, and then I eventually kind of did a little bit of everything.
That's funny. My first job was pumping gas, actually, at a local gas station.
Oh, that's your first job too?
First job, $10 cash under the table. $10 cash, $10 an hour.
$8 taxed up the wazoo.
$10
made you
cash.
Clock in with your social security number. So strange. And I was 16, so like they had all these extra rules for me. So what I would used to do is I used to play, like I used to do it during football season. So I'd practice for football until 5, and then go to Wawa, work from 5 to 10. Yeah.
Well, that's how I made my Devils fan, money. Basically, $10 an hour in the late 90s. In 1996, 97, $10 an hour under the table. You could work a Saturday and you're out there with $100. Now, I was working in a rich town, and the best part is when you tell them that you're saving up for school in a rich town, people start tipping you for putting air on their tires and all that.
Okay,
go ahead.
I have to tell you a story, but keep going.
No, and then I had this one moron that got pissed off at me and tried to get me in trouble in front of the boss.
Oh, family show.
Oh. Okay, yeah.
Got upset with you.
Yeah. Got upset. Did I swear, or I just got a little R-rated?
It's PO'd.
Oh, that's nothing.
We're a family show,
Sam. You're just like Mrs. Wu, Anyway, so got mad at me because they said that they were low on coolant, and they wanted me to pull the radiator cap while the car was hot to put coolant in. And you know what happens when you do that? You're going to the hospital.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I got stories being a gas station attendant. That'll be on the next Woo report. Anyway, but go
So
ahead
my
with your
real
story.
quick, yeah, my real quick story is that I used to hustle for tips as well. I did the I washed the windows, did little
Yep.
things. But what I used to do is I don't have a lot of feeling in my lower part of my legs, so I used to wear shorts in the winter. And people would be like, "What are you doing wearing?" Like I'd be like all bundled up top, gloves, face mask, whatever I needed, but I'd wear shorts, and people would be like, "Why are you wearing shorts?" I was like, "I can't afford pants.
Oh, no
Give
way.
me $1."
No
Oh yeah,
way.
like no, like you can ask my family, you can ask my friends from back then. Like I used to wear shorts in the winter, and they'd be like, "Why are you wearing shorts?" I'd be like, "I can't afford pants." They'd give me $1, give me $2. Some people give me $5, and they come back next
Really?
time and be like, like if they came back, and be like, "I gave you $5 last time," I'd be like, "Oh, those pants in the wash. Can't afford more than one pair of pants. Can't wear them every day. Give me another
Wow.
dollar. Give me another $2." Oh, I listen. And listen, I'm not. Technically, I couldn't afford pants. Pants are expensive, and I was making $8 an hour. But
And you
uh,
were being
yeah,
taxed too. I mean,
yeah,
making $10 an hour, and then I had a friend, one of my best friends, or actually my best friend, used to be a pizza delivery driver in the late '90s. Now that was tough because there was no such thing as GPS. There was no
yeah.
such thing as cell phones, all that, and he would walk out on a good Friday, Saturday night, $200 to $300 cash each night, just on
Yeah.
tips alone. You
I
know,
used to work at Domino's too, and I did. There was days
you
I did pretty
worked
well.
at Domino's. You work at all these places. Wow,
I've had so many jobs, Sam, and like I don't get
wow.
fired from them. I get ADD, and I'm like I'm gonna do something else. I go do it, and I actually made pretty good money at Domino's, like much better. Like at Wawa, I'd work 3 nights and make under $100 after taxes. I'd be like, what is happening? Um, but at Domino's, I would definitely clear over 100 every night.
Wow.
Unless it was like a crazy slow night. And I worked back before this is when GPS first got on phones, so we were still using the paper maps a little bit.
Hmm.
But I had the GPS on the phones. Like I think I had a BlackBerry. Um, so I was getting to places, but it was if people know Tom's River's pretty big and it's got a lot of winding different roads. So it was definitely. But I'll never forget. I don't know why, like how we got here. This is what happens when you're in the middle of a game. But um, there was a giant snowstorm, and as people know, like Domino's isn't closed for snowstorms. We deliver, and it had to be a foot outside. And I think I had the Dodge Stratus, which it's a car made of plastic, not a great car. I'm sorry if we get a Dodge. Dodge Stratus isn't a car anymore, right? They stopped making that. I think they stopped making it.
Long time ago. You can
Yeah,
trash it. That was back in the
yeah,
Daimler Chrysler days, so that's okay.
yeah. It was not a good car. It had a good engine, but the rest of the car is made of plastic, and everything's shot. Good brakes, good engine. Everything else was shot. Anyway, um, but I remember because it was snowing out, and I was a psychopath. I would be the one who was working, and there'd be 3 people delivering. There'd be me. One of the guys had an SUV, so he was like, "I don't care," and then the owner would deliver on the days of the snow days. So very much respected that. Um, but because we had so many orders coming in and only 3 drivers, we'd take 6 at a time. And it would take, and you're driving a foot of snow, so you'd get stuck all the time, like in my stupid Dodge Stratus. So it took me an hour to drive to the 6th place. And he literally goes, "What took you so long?" And I turned around to look at the snowstorm that hadn't been plowed yet. I looked back at him. I go, "What took you so long? What took me so long?" And he goes, "Okay." And he left. Didn't give me a tip still. He was mad about his long pizza that he didn't drive his behind to go get. But,
Hmm.
you know, I always found that funny. I don't know if you noticed, snowstorm outside. It was stuff like that where they had to. That's why they got rid of the 30 minutes or less. It's
Yeah,
because
it,
it
it
was
gets
just there was
dangerous.
too many variables that people were trying to hold these national chains to.
Yeah.
And it was just opening up too many different things. But anyway,
Well,
let's get back to Devils hockey.
Well, one
Sorry.
more story before we get back.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to keep it related because I'm at I got season tickets when I shouldn't have got season tickets while in college. So I started to up the game to make money to afford the $880. I think it was that's how much the cheapest seat cost in the Meadowlands, $880 for the regular season. And plus, you got to remember, back in those days, you had to budget for playoffs because that's why you got season tickets, so you have guaranteed playoff tickets. And so I upped my game in the summer of 2000 or 1999. I worked for a telemarketing company, telemarketer, selling MBNA credit cards, or signing people up for these credit cards and calling people, at least 100 times a day or whatever. And I worked at Radio Shack as well. At Radio Shack, that commission, you really have to hustle in order to pay that bill. So, and I think I was making $4.25 an hour plus commission.
Oof.
and how I tricked teenagers to buying a prepaid track phone and selling them the Tandy 2-year service. Let me tell you, I was just all those state college high school kids. I tricked them all into buying cell phones at 16 because they could buy that, but they couldn't buy a Verizon or Bell Atlantic plan back then.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's get back to Devils hockey because this is the last podcast that we're going to have before the Devils fly to Europe.
Yep.
They fly to Europe on Saturday. And they have the game October 4th. We will have a season preview. I guess we got to do that next week, huh?
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm so unprepared for our grand opening or season debut at American Whiskey on October 10th. I'm
right.
just like so behind the ball on it,
but yeah, no. I when I look at the season and I look at what we want out of the season, it's just very clear that I think we have to temper expectations at first. All offseason, I've just heard about everybody talking about how good this team is going to be. All the national pundits are just assuming the Devils are going to be good. And I don't like that, Sam. I do not like people doing that to us. I do not like people just because it's not. I look at this team and I'm like, it's not a guarantee. Now, here's the thing. You have a better coach. I really like Sheldon Keefe as a coach. I think he's going to be a fantastic coach. I think he's going to, it's early, but I think he's going to go up against Jacques Lemaire as best coach this team has ever seen. I know Pat Burns was a fantastic coach while I was here. He just didn't last very long. But, up there in that upper echelon of head coach. I think their top six is like stupendous. As long as Mercer is at least like a 55-point guy, which I think he should be. I should say as long as Tatar's a 50-point guy and Mercer's a 55-point guy, as long as you could use that line in like all situations, I think you're in great shape. My worry is that, and here's the thing is I don't know. Lindy Ruff built his entire forward lines around one defensive line. And it worked for years because he had McLeod, but McLeod's an alleged terrible person. So the house of cards really fell when McLeod got arrested. And that's like an underrated part of what happened last year. Right? Like, McLeod just was having his best season, was put in this position to succeed at all times, and he was succeeding. And you just assumed that, like, when everybody else caught up, when Jack Hughes started being Jack Hughes again, when Timo Meier started being Timo Meier again, when Nico Hischier started being Nico Hischier again, like, you were going to have this McLeod guy, like, doing what he was doing already. And then that was when everything was just going to mold together. When you lost McLeod, it's like the house of cards fell. Like, he was like the fourth line center in the bottom here, and then, like, you pulled it out, and, like, everything crumbled around him. And, like, everything was already crumbling because of injuries, but I just don't think that they were a very good coach team. I know you're going to, like, go against me on that, but I just don't think that they were a very good coach team. And I thought Sheldon Keefe is a fantastic head coach. And I will say the year before they were a great coach team. It can be the same guy who just has a rough season, but he did have a rough season. The injuries, like, they are already piling up. But like you said, they have built depth to protect themselves that they didn't have last year. They did not have depth last year. They had the lineup, and the lineup was really good, but every injury hurt them more and more and more and more and more. I think they have options that are interesting. I think we mentioned Seamus Casey, Tobias Villian. I think Hataka, as long as he's not, like, severely injured, which I don't think he would be, but maybe. You hope that it's not anything too serious. I think they have depth in the AHL. And they also have some interesting depth in the AHL with there's a couple of guys like Max Wellman, Chase Stillman has had little pieces here and there that look pretty good. I truly do think they're gonna, whether LeBlanc stays in the AHL or not, I do think they're gonna sign him and maybe put him in the AHL. And I think he'll get through waivers. I think that'll be fine. And then you got, like, guys like Shane Bowers. You got what the names escape me. Who's the guy they traded Graham Clark for? The guy he was on Minnesota.
I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, but people know who I'm talking about. This guy, he was a former top prospect of Minnesota. He's had a lot of NHL experience. It hasn't gone well, but he has the NHL experience. He's a guy who could come in and maybe find lightning in a bottle. Like, they have a lot of different options. They have, like, last year they really only had one or two AHL guys that you thought could come in and make an impact. And the thing we haven't talked about a lot, and I'm going to write about this soon, is I think that Arseniy Gritsik is going to make the NHL this year. I know he's playing the KHL right now, but their season ends in, like, March. I think that if the Devils make the playoffs, he's going to be an impactful player. He's going to be a really impactful player for them in that moment. And I think what you're going to see is, this is why you're going to need an impactful season from Dawson Mercer, because if you don't, he gets replaced by Gritsik. Or they put Gritsik on Jack Hughes' right and move Meier back down with Nico Hischier.
You're really thinking far ahead.
What's the season preview? It's not the October preview. It's the October preview, I'd be depressed. It's season preview. I think October is going to be rough. I think there's going to be some rough podcasts, some rough articles coming out on October. I'm just looking at the forest through the trees, and October is looking rough. Just with the injuries, instilling a new system, and, like, the preseason hasn't gone well because you haven't had time for it to go well. And, like, again, like, these teams, like, everybody's like, well, Washington just looks so crisp. I'm like, yeah, because Spencer Carberry's been here. And Sheldon Keefe is not. And Sheldon Keefe's his lines completely changed from day one to today, which you expect is usually not a problem. But you're playing on October 4th instead of October 9th. Those 5 days matter so much. The good news is they do have, like, a pretty big break between, but they're traveling a lot of it. They're going to have to, deal with jet lag and deal with, like, fixing the time change. I just think October is going to be rough. Once you hit November, as long as you don't have any of the major, knock on wood, as long as you don't have any of the major injuries, I think you're going to hit the ground running in November. And I think you can, like, win 11 games in November and erase the deficit that you put yourself in October and then be fine. But let's not overreact. No chanting in October, folks. No firing chants. Let's just be patient in October because it's a long season and the Metro low key kind of stinks.
I I don't think we will be able to compare Lindy Ruff and Sheldon Keefe. I think it's apples and oranges. I mean, Lindy Ruff did not have a goaltender like, I mean, Markstrom is very good.
Yeah, you're right.
So and a veteran and proven, whereas Vitek Vanacek, he was not proven, when he came to New Jersey, and
to be fair, when they got Vanacek, there was still hope that Blackwood was the guy.
Yeah, but it didn't work out. It just simply didn't work out. But with that said, Sheldon Keefe has a good foundation. I think it's going to take time. I think it's going to be more of they're going to have early struggles. If they are going to make the playoffs, this is a scenario. They're going to have early struggles. They're not going to be better than a 500 team. Would be surprised if they're a few games under 500. But I think it's the second half of the season. I think that's where they're going to make their move. That's just my opinion, of course.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page there. I think we just got to be patient with October. But the good news is that Jake Allen and Markstrom have looked like they're in season form. They look good. Nico Dawes looked good yesterday.
They're moving around.
Yeah.
I'm happy with Dougie Hamilton. I don't think he's 100% there yet. He still needs some time to get back in the flow, but at least he's skating. At least he's taking shots.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody says that his shot looks fine. Brendan Dillon tonight had a rocket. Mm-hmm. So that's last I checked, that was the one goal the Devils had. I haven't checked during the podcast. I don't know if they've scored anything else, but just checking real quick to see if there's.
Yeah, you know what I need to do, Nick, is I need to put a TV in my studio so I can watch these games on live air. The problem is I'll lose concentration of the podcast. We wouldn't want that. But
it's apparently been a rough game.
Yeah. Seeing a lot of people chiming in during the game on the YouTube Live, Facebook Live.
We often get some pretty good viewership. They put us on, instead of listening to monumental sports people, you get a little Let's Go Devils podcast action going. But I think Sandwich, I think thinking about the season preview next week, we'll discuss what that's going to look like, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Well, just want to say that we'll be back at American Whiskey October 10th. It's going to be amazing. The big stage will be out, depending on the weather. And we're going to be traveling this year. We're going to start doing some cool things. Not going to let it out yet. Also, pucksandpitchforks.com is like what Nick was saying. They've got bloggers. They've got great write-ups. Notice I didn't say the C word. Write-ups.
Oh, I guess I should plug,
articles.
Right?
Yeah, you got to plug.
All right, so I wrote that Seamus Casey piece yesterday. I also wrote 3 quick observations about the first set of lines that Sheldon Keefe has put out. And it's technically the second, because he put out those first lines and he's changed them since then. But the current lines, I've set 3 observations for the current lines the Devils have right now. Jennifer Streeter put out a story on Nico Dawes and Jake Allen and their performance last night. Vinny Parisi finished his top 15 most important people in the New Jersey Devils. So all 15 are up. You go check out who the number 1 is. Man, there's been a lot. So I'm just trying to remember. Luke Garrison has been writing about, he's been counting down to the season with different jersey numbers. So that's still going on. Yeah. I mean, listen, and in our big season preview, shoot for October 1st. The big season preview.
Is that Wednesday? October 1st?
No, I think it's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wow. I got my days mixed up, Nick. This is not good.
You did.
Yeah,
You did.
not
You
good.
did it, Sam.
All right.
It's okay.
Well, congratulations to Bradley Ross for winning JCP Architectural 2 preseason tickets last week. But if you want to win tickets, and we randomly select, if you go to joinourcrew.com, again, joinourcrew.com, it's free to sign up. You sign up, and what will happen? Well, you're automatically entering all season long drawings for winning tickets. JCB Architectural, when they come, when there's free tickets, we randomly select fans, we reach out to you, and then boom, you got tickets in your email. Just like that. Go to joinourcrew.com. Also, by going to joinourcrew.com and signing up, you'll get the latest updates of where we will be at, plus all sorts of things going during the season. And that's all I'm plugging today. Oh, and by the way, happy birthday to Aaron. Happy 40th birthday. Claire did a cameo. Went on my cameo page and requested a cameo to say happy birthday to Aaron.
We love that.
Yeah, so, if you want me to say happy birthday to people, and I charge a reasonable rate. You know what rate I charge, Nick?
What was it, $5?
$5. $5. And if you want me to do a 3-minute video for your corporate event, it's $1,995. That's it.
I was about to say something, but I think it was crude.
Oh, you can say it off air. We're about to end the podcast anyway. Are you texting me what the crude joke was? Oh, okay.
I got listeners texting me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. What are they telling you? Get that Sam off the air. He sucks. Oh, I can't say that.
No, it was more like this team does look bad. It's gonna be rough.
You know what? I'm gonna end on a positive note. It's only preseason.
Yeah. Remember what we did last preseason?
What? Go undefeated, and we thought like we were gonna be like the kings of the world.
It's rough. Rough stuff.
Yeah. All right.
I guess we just like zeros, Sam. One way or the other.
Anyway, want to thank all those tuning in. Go to pucksandpitchforks.com and also joinourcrew.com for the latest updates, and also be automatically entered to win tickets all season long. Till next time, let's go Devils.